stop whatever you're doing. No, serious Lifehouse, you're scrolling. Silence your group chats. And tell your mama you'll call her back. 'Cause what I'm about to reveal will make your brain glitch harder than Kandi's microphone during a Bravo reunion. Allegedly, supposedly, reportedly according to the whispering walls of Atlanta, the messy streets of Twitter University, and one overly dramatic barista who swears she heard everything, Todd Tucker has officially crossed into a level of chaos. Even reality TV couldn't script. Yes, Todd Tucker, the man who can barely keep a restaurant open without Yelp turning it into a comedy roast, is now blaming Burruss for none other than Kandi's emotional breakdown. Imagine that. A grown man pointing a finger at a college girl and declaring that she is the reason a Grammy-winning, business-running, empire-building icon like Kandi Burruss is mentally spiraling. Did Todd really accuse Riley of sabotaging the family from the inside? Did he actually call her the root of the chaos behind closed doors? Or is this just another episode of Todd versus accountability? Buckle up, grab your popcorn. Grab your wig glue, because this scandal is about to get darker, juicier, and pettier than anything Bravo has ever dared to air. From the very beginning, this entire situation has carried the kind of chaotic energy that makes you stop and wonder how a family that looks so polished on camera can be crumbling behind closed doors. The moment whispers leaked that Todd Tucker had allegedly blamed Riley for Kandi Burruss' emotional breakdown, the internet practically short-circuited from shock and messy excitement. People acted like they had front-row seats to the downfall of a reality TV dynasty, and honestly, who could blame them? This storyline has everything: tension, betrayal, resentment, silent wars, and a stepfather-step-tart dynamic that has been boiling for years. To understand how we reached this point, you have to go back to when Todd first entered the picture. When Riley was much younger and already protective of her mother in a way that should have been a red flag for anyone paying attention. Those early family scenes that looked cute on television, cheerful dinners, the forced bonding moments, the awkward car rides, were carefully packaged. But the truth was that Riley never fully warmed up to Todd, and Todd never mastered the patience required for a child who did not ask for him to enter her life. People close to the family whispered that Riley kept her guard up, and Todd took it personally, turning every disagreement into a mental scoreboard of disrespect. Over time, the tension shifted from subtle to suffocating because Todd wanted authority, while Riley wanted independence, and Kandi, caught in the middle, tried to navigate emotional landmines like someone tiptoeing through a field of explosives. As the years passed, the resentment grew heavier, and every small incident became another silent argument stored for future battles. Sources who claim to have witnessed interactions described moments where Todd felt undermined and overlooked, insisting he was treated like an outsider in his own home, while Riley allegedly saw him as someone trying too hard to control what he didn't build. It became a cold war inside the house, passive-aggressive mornings, closed doors, stiff hugs on camera, and conversations that lasted just long enough to avoid suspicion. Everything exploded when Kandi's stress levels started becoming visible publicly, and whispers began pointing the blame at Riley, shocking fans who always viewed her as quiet and focused. But Todd, according to insiders, allegedly framed Riley as the core reason behind Kandi's emotional exhaustion, claiming her resistance and emotional walls created an environment so draining that it shattered the balance of their blended family. Whether true or not, the allegation alone was enough to ignite a firestorm. Because blaming a young woman for her mother's emotional collapse is extreme and reveals how fractured the household had become beneath its carefully curated image. Once the accusation began circulating online, everything escalated into a level of chaos that felt unreal, as if the quiet tension inside that house suddenly burst open and spilled across the internet with the force of a broken dam. What made it even more unbelievable was how fast anonymous insiders Family, friends, and conveniently talkative staff members appeared with their own versions of what had been happening. According to one supposed insider who claimed to overhear a heated conversation, Todd allegedly said Riley had been creating emotional obstacles for Kandi for years, portraying her as someone who thrived on keeping the household under constant pressure. That one claim alone set social media on fire. More alleged leaks followed, including messages where Todd reportedly referred to Riley as a constant disruption who drained Kandi's energy and made every decision harder. Whether real or fabricated by internet detectives, didn't matter if public had already chosen sides. Then came rumors about financial stress inside the household, with claims that Todd was frustrated by the money Kandi spent on Riley's education, living expenses, and lifestyle, believing those financial commitments pulled resources from their businesses. People online began piecing together timelines, screenshots, old show clips analyzing every eyebrow raise, every quiet moment, every awkward smile as if it were evidence in a courtroom. One anonymous source even claimed a major argument erupted when Riley confronted Todd about his attempts to control household decisions, accusing him of prioritizing his pride over peace. That alleged fight ended with both of them walking away while Kandi cried silently in frustration. Then came the so-called investigative findings from bloggers with exclusive documents, suggesting the family had been struggling long before the leaks. Fans ran wild with those claims, accusing Todd of emotional manipulation, Riley of being a troublemaker, and Kandi of maintaining a perfect public image instead of addressing her home's instability. Meanwhile, whispers grew darker as new claims surfaced that producers of their reality show had tried intervening privately before things spiraled. But their attempts failed as the emotional distance between Todd and Riley widened beyond repair, as the situation intensified into something the family could no longer contain. The fallout became impossible to ignore. What started as whispers transformed into a full-scale digital storm, with people predicting legal consequences, emotional collapse, and even career damage for everyone involved. Speculation grew louder each day as more insiders came forward describing a home so toxic that some feared outside intervention might be necessary. Rumors spread that family members considered involving therapists, mediators, or legal advisors to restore order. Though nothing was confirmed, people questioned whether Kandi's businesses might suffer if sponsors viewed the drama as instability, while others wondered if Todd's harsh accusations would trigger a legal response or a public statement from Riley. Some commentators even claimed that child welfare advocates quietly took interest because the emotional stress described in leaked accounts sounded concerning. At the same time, backlash against Todd intensified, with thousands calling him out for placing the emotional burden of a grown woman's well-being on her daughter. Others argued Riley was old enough to take accountability for her role. Meanwhile, Kandi, usually resilient and composed, began showing signs of emotional exhaustion, speaking less, smiling less, and looking strained in interview chic only fueled speculation. Online discussions grew darker as people debated whether the marriage could survive, whether Riley would distance herself permanently, and whether the blended family was collapsing. Every small update became evidence, and bloggers began predicting legal separation, financial disputes, or public statements if the pressure continued. Fans described watching the family as witnessing a slow-motion unraveling, a household collapsing beneath emotional weight no one publicly acknowledged. And through all the speculation, leaks, and dramatic debates, one question remained unanswered, echoing louder with each passing day. How far would this emotional damage really reach? At this point, the only thing left to ask is where this story goes next and how far the fallout will spread, because no one outside that house truly knows what is happening behind those walls, or how deeply this tension has carved itself into every relationship connected to them. What we do know is that situations like this never stay quiet for long, and every new whisper, every leak, and every sudden shift only adds more fuel to a fire already burning hotter than anyone expected. So now, I want to hear from you. because your voice shapes the conversation that unfolds next. Do you believe Todd crossed a line that cannot be undone? Or is there more to this story than anyone is admitting? Tell me your thoughts in the comments, share your opinion, and subscribe for the next chapter of this unfolding chaos.